At least I think so. All right, guys, welcome back to the Steel Forum. We are here live again. One of our most exciting ways to do it because I don't have to do any editing at all. Makes me very, very happy. So we wanted to talk a little bit about what's coming up next week. We got the SDS2 Users Group Conference. We're both going to be heading down. We're excited about it, but we wanted to kind of tell you what we expect to do while we're there and kind of maybe just talk out what we're going to do. How you doing, Matt?
Hanging in there, buddy.
Yeah.
Hanging in there. It's been a busy summer.
Yeah, it's been a busy summer in a good way, not that overly pressed way. So we got the conference coming up. This is only my second SDS2 Users Group conference. This is what's this, like your fourth? Fifth?
Yeah, I think fourth. I think this is my third time presenting.
Yeah. So we've gone to a couple of these. I went to one, and then afterwards, after the one, I was like, you know what, maybe let's just send a guy to kind of pick out the information. And so I've got some mixed feelings about the potential. What do you think? Is it going to be a good one?
Well, I'm hoping so. I remember the first time that we went, we kind of shut down the whole company. It was you, me, and we had a new guy with us. And we all went down there for different reasons. I went down there to kind of see what was going to be new with the software. You went down there sort of in hopes of finding potential customers, some other fabricators that we could work with. And he was going down there looking for some training, that beginner boot camp sort of thing. And the way it kind of worked out was most of the people that were there already owned the software. They were detailers. They had in-house detailing teams. So it wasn't really a great find for you trying to find customers. And then the beginner boot camp, as it turned out, was so beginner level that our guy who had been with us for a couple of months, even though he was brand new to detailing, it was below his pay grade, so he got little out of it.
Yeah, that was almost like a basic training level of stuff. So
right. And not saying that doesn't have its place, but generally the people that are going to go to the user group conference have more experience with that. And I don't see that level of sessions anymore. It seems like they're a bit higher level now, so I think they've kind of picked up on that as not being a really great tool for people while they're there because of the demographic that's going to show up. So it's just sort of faded out and they've replaced it with other things at this point.
yeah, I also the only time that I went, I happened to get the flu while I was there, so that put a damper on it. And one of the sessions, quote unquote sessions that I went to was on parametrics and taking here it's a parametric training course, and it was taught by Beimer. And of course, I was expecting the level of, all right, you've written a couple parametrics, you understand coding in general, and take it to the next step. And it was not that. It was Beimer level, like, well, if you pickle this and you parse that, and I was like, whoa. So that was
Those
bad.
were labs, weren't they? Like you got shuttled off to SDS headquarters to go. You did that in templates. I remember that when the templates had come out. And you came back from that just totally burnt out and blown away. Like I got nothing out of that other than I went way over my head.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you know programming, you can sit in that class and kind of pick some stuff up. But it's not meant for people who know scripting. It's a whole different level, and that's something actually with parametrics in general that has changed. And I think to their detriment is they started off as a visual basic level of coding. Here's a dialog box, throw a message, ask for a variable, and then spit it back out. And now it's come much more to the what I would call the C++ side, where it's all right. You've got to draw the GUI. You've got to put in all these elements. It's much more code heavy, which of course gives it more power, but for guys like us who want to spend a couple hours to make something, throw in a loop that asks a couple of questions and then spits out a thing, it's a little bit overly complicated.
Right. For the parametrics that you used to write when you were more into it, it was more of a text-based thing where you knew what it was going to do, you just ran it, it did its thing, and that was the end of it. Whereas the ones that I got more into writing as I got into it later on were I can make a really pretty dialogue box, and I can make as you fill things out, it can change the text to be bolded or things like that, so that you kind of have a greater understanding of what it is that you're doing as you're filling it out. But it does require a lot more, like you said, you have to actually get into the nuts and bolts of coding up the GUI yourself.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that's, I went to school to be a software engineer, which you see where that got me, but at least I've got those skills kind of about how to program a GUI, how to do that interface. But that's the sort of thing that a lot of detailers just don't have that background. So why would they bother to learn all of that when they just need to get it to throw some angles on some beams? Why are we making such a fuss? So there is that kind of divide.
Yeah, yeah. So now we mostly find ourselves just editing other people's stuff, but we are starting to dedicate an employee's time to writing those components, those parametrics. So hopefully he becomes more heavily versed in it, and we can use that. And part of that came from me preparing for my my session. So we talked a little bit about the level of sessions that we got, and before we, in our meeting this morning, we were talking about the highlights of previous version sessions that they're doing, and how I think that's kind of stupid.
Yeah, I just now, honestly, is my first real chance to sit down and take a look at the conference schedule as a whole. And at any given time period, there's 3 sessions going on, and one of each of those, so they're devoting a full third of the conference to outdated software. They're going to have a 2015 review, parts 1 and 2. Then there's 2016 review, parts 1 and 2. Then 2017, parts 1 and 2. And then they conclude with a best of 2015 through 2018. And to me, unless you've got extreme mitigating circumstances, you're working with a customer who will not permit you to use a further along piece of software, you should be in 2018. It's stable. It's as stable as any version was before it. Don't get into 2019, but everybody kind of knows that at this point. But that's just where everything kind of is right now, and there's no value to sitting in 2017, 2016, 2015, because you're going to be just as stable, if not more so, in 2018, and you're going to get the extra features that come along with it.
Right.
So why are you wasting your time, and especially complaining about any bugs that are in it? I mean, there's no point reporting those bugs, because they're probably either fixed or they're just not going to get fixed. But they may be dealt with in a future version, and you're just refusing to use it.
Yeah, and we've done it before where we've worked with clients on older versions of software, but I don't think I would do it again. Other than going back maybe to a general release, going back as far as 7.3 or even 2015, I just don't see the value of it. It's almost ridiculous, especially if you haven't paid your support fees or you don't want to. You want to kind of stay where I get that, but if you're going to these conferences, if your support fees are paid up and stuff like that, there's great features in the newer software. We won't talk about 2019 because that's not the case. But that's an aberration, right? Other versions have had enough features to cancel out their additional bugs, and they fixed the bugs that were in the previous version, so it's just a different set of bugs.
Right. There's always that mobile set of bugs going forward. They fix some and create others, either by fixing the original bugs or just through the addition of new features. You may get a new feature, but something about that has a bug that you just have to kind of stay with it.
Right. And I know too that I'm going to be eating my words, right? There's going to be people sitting in those old sessions, and I don't understand them, and I think we should not be supporting them, right? Like, we should be encouraging them to get up to date and use the latest software. But my vision is not always the right vision, I guess. So, meh.
I just can't imagine that with any other software. You can't go online and find a training manual. I mean, you can find an outdated one, but you can't find a current training manual for Office XP.
Right.
It's not a thing. That's just no longer supported.
Yeah. And as it should be, right? There's
Right.
there's new things. So that's a good third of the conference, like we said, that to me is disappointing that we were spending that much time. The other thing that we'll go over quickly that we found disappointing is that the word came out that we're not going to actually be able to record and then rebroadcast or stream any of the SDS2 sessions.
Right. And I can imagine reasons that they would want to do that, but it's just speculation. But that's a huge letdown for me, and that's also been a letdown within our office. We've got employees that would like to go because they would like to get the experience of attending some of these sessions. There may be things to learn for them, and they're going to be. They had their hopes up that this was going to be something that would be recorded, it would be broadcast. There was a whole big to do about how this was going to be made available, and now that's just kind of been cut away.
Yeah, and I think they're still going to be doing their own recordings of the Zoom sessions, but I think their goal is to control that content a little bit, which one of the things in the past is some of these, to my knowledge, were recorded but then never let into the wild, and that's my fear, is that this same thing is going to happen again. So I'm not going to jump up and down about it. They've got their reasons. I think the users should be disappointed by that, but it's I guess it's within their realm of control to do that. There is some discussion about whether the users group is independent or not. It always kind of claims it is, but this would, if we're talking about purely user benefit, then this is a terrible decision, right?
Right. And I don't know how this decision has come down, but to me, this absolutely would sell me on the idea that no, the user group is not independent.
Right. Well, and independence is kind of a moving target, right? So if they're independent, but the users group conference, which we all know is heavily dependent, the quality of it is heavily dependent on how much SDS2 participates in that, then of course it's only titularly independent. And
Well, I mean that's similar to, when you watch TV. Not that I get to watch any TV anymore, with commercials, and you see all those ads talking about medications that you can't decide to go buy because you have to go ask your doctor. It's a prescription. Well, they're buying that time so that they can then have the influence over those stations. And I think that's maybe a similar thing here. If we're relying heavily on SDS to provide the content, then we're going to have to deal with their stipulations
yeah,
of the conference and the user group itself.
yeah, and I'm not going to go all crazy angry about it. It's disappointing, but I'm going to be there. I'm going to make sure that the session that I produce, we find a way to reproduce that content for our channel so that everybody can kind of see it and get that same information. We'll do the same thing for you, and we'll ask the other conference participants if they'll do the same for us, to take this information off private. And that's one of the lessons that I wish SDS2 would have learned, is kind of what's called the Streisand effect. People are going to be much more understanding if you're open and you're public about stuff and stuff goes wrong. That's not a big deal. Okay, this is a live conference, this is live software, things happen. And I get too, like if they didn't want to stream the 2020 announcement and hear the new features we're expecting, all right, I get it. But the moment anybody walks out of that room, including us, that's public knowledge, and we're going to share it, right? We're going to talk to other people who are using SDS2 and talk about it.
Right. Honestly, I would love us to be able to set this up when we get back, if we can get into Zoom conferences with each of the presenters for anything that we were really interested in, and just pump that straight back out. Just kind of do a recap.
Yeah.
For our viewers, just so that.
But if nothing else, we'll take copious notes and then we'll review it. So that's something that you can expect, and probably in a more condensed fashion, right? Like those PowerPoints tend to be a little bit dry, and when you're sitting in that conference room and those fluorescent lights are on, and you were out last night, drinking with other detailers, you tend to nod off a little bit. So hopefully we'll get those notes and then be able to present it in a way that people can watch it when they want. So I think that'll be good. But still, like, just because we're not able to, you're out of focus, to record the sessions themselves, we're still going to be doing, we're going to do live broadcasts from the Embassy Suites. We've got our equipment kind of set up to do that. We will be talking about it. We're going to pull a lot of information out of that conference and be producing a lot of content based on it. So still a lot to look forward to. So what's your session on?
My session is on components.
So have you started it yet?
I'm going to be talking about the components that come packaged with, distributed with SDS. I kicked around the notion of bringing along some custom-made ones, but I'm thinking that's too much of a tease to people that aren't obviously going to have access to those, to just sit there and ooh and ah at what could be. That's like showing people a parametric you're never going to let out in the wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, and no, I haven't really gotten too much into it yet because it's going to be a live demonstration, so it's largely shooting from the hip. But those seem to be some of my best presentations, are the ones where I'm just going to do a demonstration and people ask questions along the way. It kind of flows just like our videos do. I'm going to show you a bunch of things, and if you hit something, it's like, whoa, wait, back up. What was that?
Yeah, but I edit our videos.
Yeah, but there's not going to be dogs barking or phones ringing in the middle of my presentation. I should hope not, anyway.
Yeah, you never know. You really never know. The Embassy Suites brand has certainly taken a turn for the worst lately.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, there might be dogs wandering, just strays. You never really know. So what are some of the components you can touch on, do you think?
Let's see. We're going to be doing some of the beam stiffeners, column stiffeners, OSHA safety holes, and safety tabs.
Oh, so boring.
Well, they're necessary. They're useful.
Yeah.
Outriggers, nailer holes.
You could do the surfaces one, right?
Surfaces connection. That's my big finish, because that one's the witchcraft one where you can frame any two materials to each other.
Well, and that one should be the guideline for which all other components are produced, right? It's got visual feedback. It's it's doing stuff that you can't do in 3D or 2D space, really. And SDS2 is not great at handling 3D interaction with the model. You're almost always in a planar view.
You're always you always want to be in a plan or a section view that's very specifically looking on edge of something. Yeah, this lets you just plop stuff in and then fudge it around, and then you can just take measurements and tweak it if you want. I don't want to give too much away about it, but I think you've even done a video on it previously just to briefly show how it works, but I'll be getting in depth with that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So
There's a couple more, but
I'm always excited about the previews of the new version. In this case it's 2020. This time I think I'm more nervous than I am excited, because after the whole kerfuffle with 2019, I'm worried that we end up they're going to be toting or promoting all of these new features that they're adding, and I'm just going to groan and be like, don't stop, fix the stuff.
Let's see.
Yeah.
It does make me nervous. I have a hard enough time letting 1 year slip, but I can't let 2.
Yeah, this is absolutely a make or break version of SDS2 for us. We're at that point where we're going to be spending dollars on software, and we're going to go one way, or we're going to go the other.
Yep.
And
we've reached that critical mass, and we're just now getting to a point where we got to make a decision.
And based on our conversations with other people, we're not alone in that. There are a lot of people, who I would consider deep inside SDS2, people who have been for a long time loyal, active community members who are starting to take a hard look at the competition. And so it really is, it's make or break. Of course, I'm going to be excited about new features if they come out. I'll be excited if they're talking about fixing the features that were supposed to be in 2019 so that they work properly. But as always, I have my reservations. Do they do the round? They do roundtable at the user group
Yes,
conference.
roundtables will be on the first day, Wednesday, and let me just scroll up and take a peek. Roundtable is going to be looks like an hour and a half. Roundtable discussions.
Okay, that's always fun. Those
Yeah.
are nice. And then
Then to bounce around, you find what's your biggest gripe, and sit at that table and talk the ear off the poor representative from SDS that's got to take notes there.
there's never an interface table.
No,
There really isn't. And
I don't
that's,
think there is.
it's always going to be my thing. So, if there's a spot on the advisory board, I do intend to kind of go after that at least a little bit. See if we can get a spot on the advisory board. So more people have to listen to my blathering on about things. Hopefully there's more than one, so I don't have to compete too hard. But I know there's at least one, so we'll kind of see what happens there. Let's see, what else we got? What are some of the other sessions? I don't have the schedule in front of me.
Oh, well, let's see. I can roll right through. So, first one, we've got, and I'll ignore the outdated software one. So there's 2018 review
Okay.
and then SDS2 concrete.
So we're gonna skip the first session.
So I may sleep in a little bit, maybe get some hot tub time or hit the gym.
Yeah. What's that?
Oh,
Wednesday
I
morning.
know last time I was there a couple of years ago, their gym was being renovated, and I had to go to the Y across the street. But hopefully,
Like I said, Embassy Suites, man. There.
I hope it's more than just a stair climber, an elliptical, and a treadmill.
Yep.
You never know. Let's see. So after lunch, we've got SDS2 ABM enhancements, which I thought the ABM enhancements were part of 2019. Were they not?
They actually are. Yeah. That's all kind of rolled into 29. So they might be talking about it as a preview. Here's what to expect.
Could be.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna change
no, we
cameras.
got-
This one's going all over the place on me.
You're very shiny.
Yeah, very shiny, and it keeps blinking in and out. No, that's not better. Now you can see my mess on the floor. I thought it might be better. It's not. So,
Camera 1, camera 2.
camera 1, camera 2.
All right, so the other one they've got during that time slot is going to be project review, Vanderbilt dorm. So it looks like somebody's going to be kind of discussing how a project went.
That's
Okay,
cool.
yeah.
That's something I'd like to do on the channel.
Yeah, those are interesting. I think I sat in on something they did a BIM job for once, and that was kind of an interesting discussion.
Yeah, to do that for us though, that means we need some other contributors, and we really do want people to come on the show, and we've had several people kind of be like, yeah, let's do it, and then we follow up, and it's like Tuesday, and then Tuesday never comes. So if you're out there, you're listening, you wanna come on the show, kind of show off a project that you've done, and talk about some of the challenges you face, we'd love to do it.
Yeah,
So if not, we'll just have to keep blathering on, the two of us.
we'll just keep showing off things and griping about others, I suppose.
Yeah.
All right, so after that, then we've got myself doing using components, and then we've got complementing tools.
What is that?
I don't know, and I'm not going to
Yeah,
get to find out.
yeah,
so
there's
you'll have to
there's
check that one out.
well, but there's no descriptions of
Right.
the thing yet. They're way behind on getting these. Typically it's a month out that you can pick what session you're going to go to, and
Yeah.
just
I
having
know it was recently they were even asking for those descriptions. So I mean, but still, that was a week or two ago that we sent. Maybe they're still waiting on some people's. I don't know. I would be releasing those as I got them. Complementing tools.
Well, I'll
I
be
don't-
there, so we'll find out what it is.
Yeah, not even sure what that could be. But
I don't know. I kind of want to see yours though. Just so I can maybe I can heckle you from the.
Oh yeah, that's no. You know what? No, I'm sold now. You go see complementing tools.
All right, fine. I'll go see
That'll be good for
complementing tools.
I don't need you asking questions to trip me up on the spot for things you know might be an issue in there.
Yeah, it's good that they didn't put you first thing in the morning because I tend to take you or intend to take you and several other detailers out Tuesday night and have a good time. Tuesday night, Wednesday night. That's what conferences are all about. Finding,
Oh yeah, that's the networking time.
yeah,
Which is
networking.
good for drink your face off.
Yeah, drink your face off.
Got to use that company expenditure card.
Yeah,
Was
yeah,
it per
that's right.
diem?
Per diem. Yeah, not for us though. We just have the blank check, and so
Yeah.
if you want to come drink with us, you come on out. Tuesday night, Wednesday night, we're going out. Thursday night's the conference dinner, right?
Yes, Thursday night is the reception dinner.
It was supposed to be something like the '60s or '50s or I don't know, some theme.
I don't
Not,
know. They're usually themed on a decade, it seems like. The few that I've been to, anyway. I remember there being an 80s night, and I feel like there was a 90s night.
yeah, I could do either of those, but '50s or '60s are, I guess, boring to me.
A little bit
I
before
could
your
show up
time.
in a poodle skirt. That would be exciting.
All right. Now it's a party.
Yeah, yeah. I got,
So the last thing of the day there, and this one's got one I'm interested in, is creating plugins. That one I am 100% down for. And the other one will be MRP integration, which as a subcontract detailer, I don't care.
yeah,
but-
yeah. I don't really care either.
We have the ability to export FabTrol, FabSuite. I've never had a customer say anything more than send me the KISS file, so I'm sure that's great for fabricators that are looking to add MRP if they don't have it already. But most fabricators have it at this point. Or if they're that dedicated to being a tape measure shop, then they aren't going to this anyway.
Well, every once in a while, one of those tape measure shops hires somebody new, and they get started on this stuff. So that's where SDS2 makes all their sales, right? Like, it's people.
That's your new emerging market is people that are finally getting on the trolley and joining the 21st century with 3D modeling.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so Friday. Make sure this is Friday. I got it clicked off here. Yep. Friday, while we're attempting to sober up, it's going to be project review in 2018. Okay. And demystifying project management tips and tricks. Oh, see, now they're going to make me want to think at 8 in the morning.
Yeah, yeah. So
But, do our best.
we'll each pick one of those and kind of
Yep.
parse it and see what's what.
See who wins.
Yeah.
So after that, we've got Bluebeam and SDS2, which I wouldn't think much of that just by the initial name of it, but I did go to that a couple of years ago, and there were some things to be learned there. I got to say there is a value to that. We learned some different shortcuts and different things that you can do that most of them are eluding me as I'm trying to remember them now, but they are valuable, and I have been teaching some of our staff how to do some of these things. There are some slick little tools that you can do there. But competing with that, so I'll probably end up going to that because competing with that will be SDS2 Hacks, which is what you're presenting on.
Yeah, yeah, and I ran through it yesterday with Jason just to make sure. And there's so much that I found myself like, all right, like I'm going to talk a lot about the general concepts of here's where to find your tweaks, and here's generally how to make the connections work that don't want to work. Here's how to trick the software into doing what you need it to do. But man, trying to get into specifics in an hour and 20 minutes, I ran out the hour clock just kind of giving general guidelines. And I think that's probably the way to go. I'm happy with it because everybody's going to take something different out of it, and I don't want to spend a half an hour on something and leave half the people out because they didn't get it. And most of the people, like in this room, once you guide them in the right direction, they can explore it more, and they'll come up, with their specific questions afterwards, and you can help them parse it out. But it's mostly how do you make connections to work that don't work? What are some ways to get more money out of this stuff? Like, using your programmable mouse and keyboard, how do you use that? Getting your toolbar configurations right, messing with the material file to get stuff that it doesn't want to do to make it look right. Node configuration in your connections, all that stuff.
I'm going to give you a little tip. This is your first time presenting, right?
It is.
So you're going to get through with your presentation because you've got the sort of thing that I think is going to lend itself to this issue. You're going to get through with your presentation. You're going to say, does anybody have any questions? You're going to get 3 to 5 questions. You'll go through those, and then time is up. Stay up at your booth, okay, at the podium, because you will then see as everyone gets up to leave, about 15 to 20 people form a line right in front of you with job-specific questions that they were not going to ask in front of everyone else.
Yeah.
And just going to want to be ready. Don't just pack up immediately. Give it a couple minutes and just kind of go through that with as many people as you can get through. Dole out cards and say, hey, give me a call after. We'll talk about it. You know, 'cause that's going to be a thing. I had that happen when I did the custom members. I had people catching me, you know, with very job-specific questions, and I was kind of walking them through. And they're always let down, too, because they get to the end of it, and they're like, wait, I just finished a job where this would have been fantastic, and it was a nightmare because I had to do it the long way around. Are you seriously telling me this has been available for years? Yeah, sorry. Where were you 3 months ago, you know?
Yeah.
That's what you're going to run into a lot of.
Yeah.
And I think especially with the tools that you're going to be talking about, you're going to get that. So be prepared to set up a lot of after-the-fact meetings to talk to people.
Well, and I've got not the worst. The worst time slot I would say is probably Friday morning, right after the dinner, where everybody gets
It'll
a little.
be after people have
drunk.
sobered up a little bit.
But a lot of people by then have already are booking their flights. They're out the door. You know, depending on what time the flights go out. So we'll see how attendance does.
Yeah. Just as a matter of point to that, I believe that is the time slot that I had when I did the custom members, and my moderator had to catch his flight back to Canada, so he wound up just leaving in the middle of it. He'd at least, you know, let me know in advance that was going to be happening, but he kind of got the ball rolling. Then I took it from there, and then halfway through he just stands up and leaves.
Yeah.
And had I not been prepared for it, he didn't make any fanfare of it or anything. It was no, hey, I'm mad, I gotta go. Just stood up and left. So like, well, was I boring you?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Yeah. Well, and based on this stream and our channel in general, I don't mind nobody watching. That's fine. I'll still talk. It's okay. You know, if 5 people pull something that's useful, it was time well spent.
You know what got me though is I kind of thought it was going to be an empty house, because whatever I was up against was something I would have wanted to go see, and it's also the end of the conference. We're right there at the tail end of it, and so I expected an empty room. You know, maybe I'm going to get 5 people, and it was packed.
Yeah.
Didn't see that coming, because there were a lot of people leaving. Like there were a lot of people I talked to that were not going to be there. After they might catch the first session and then that was it. They were flying out, and my room was absolutely packed.
Yeah.
I had people standing at the back wall.
Yeah. I remember when you prepared for it. I made a special recording of your preparation, and I'm not going to play it on the stream because it has what some folks might find objectionable language in it. It's, you know, pretty borderline, but there are those, so I won't do it live. But if anybody wants a copy of the Matt Hand dubstep remix, just let me know and I'll get you out a copy right away. So other than that, we're going to be meeting up with people. We're hoping to do a couple of live.
I got to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I got one more session here.
Oh, we do?
Yep. There's
Really?
one more round. So the last one is going to be LRFD 15th edition. What's new?
Okay.
And the last one, oh, they really saved the firing squad for last. Live Q&A forum.
So they're just going to put somebody up there and let them answer.
Just let somebody be the fish in the barrel to get peppered with questions.
That's actually, you know,
Whatever.
if you had primer questions to get the ball rolling, that would be a great format for all of these, right? Like, if you take a guy like me or you that like really likes to dig into the nitty gritty of the software, and you just put them up there and let people pepper them with questions. Hey, how do you do this? You could do 3 hours easily.
That's kind of how I did the custom members, because it wasn't really supposed to be custom members. It was supposed to be the member edit screen.
Oh, right, and you just refused to do it, right?
Yeah, I can explain the standard member edit screen to anybody in 5 minutes. How am I going to fill close to an hour and a half with that? So I just hijacked it for custom member edit screens essentially. That was a lot more fun and interesting. And people that have never used a roof frame member or an embed angle member, things like that. If you're living on miscellaneous members, you're living in the past. You need to try these tools out.
Yeah.
I got a lot of good questions, and you never know how deep into those to go either. Like I can explain what every field does, but does everybody care?
Yeah.
And so I tried to gloss over things, and I got a lot of wait, go back. I need to see, what did you just do? That was awesome.
Yeah.
That sort of a thing.
Yeah. So we'll be doing our recap videos, live from the glamorous Embassy Suites, Lincoln. But we're also hoping to meet up with some fellow detailers, some people who won't be too shy to go on camera and kind of share their thoughts too, just to get some more involvement. Our job is to kind of increase that community participation. That's our goal in life. So we'll be doing a lot of that, a lot of drinking, I'm sure. We got that company credit card ready to set some fire to the bars. We'll go find a good place. And at least Tuesday night, we're planning on kind of meeting up. We're just going to sit in the middle of the Embassy Suites and see who gathers around, and then go find a local watering hole and hang out and talk SDS too. And detailing in general, I'm sure. So that's going to be a lot of fun. That's always my favorite part of just the conversations that you get to have with people who know what steel detailing is, and you can speak in an educated manner about. We sat with Randy. What's Randy's last name?
Sutton.
Randy Sutton from SDI. No.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's SDI. And it just had great conversations about detailing in general. What are some of the challenges we face? Finding employees, training employees, software. Who's our favorite support rep? Who's our least favorite support rep? All the ways that detailers are treated unjustly in this modern world. So, looking forward to it. We'll probably go live a couple days or a couple times Tuesday, and continuing on the conference. So kind of watch out for it, and we'll see what happens. Other than that, should we wrap it up?
Yep, I think so.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna get back to work, guys. If you got any questions, is there anything you want to particularly hear from at the conference? Maybe you want a great pick of your sales rep so that you can chase them down later for whatever reason. Let us know. We'll try and get you whatever we can. And we look forward to hearing you or seeing you back here on the Steel Forum.